Hey everybody. Whoa, where am I? I am currently in the Straight Up Podcast studio. So if you are interested in renting out this beautiful space in Fort Worth, Texas, you can just check out the link in the description below. And if you're outside of Texas, but you still want some, professional podcasting services, whether that's production, editing, equipment, just general consulting on how you create a successful podcast, check us out at www.straightuppodcast.com. And if you want to hear our podcast, PodLogic, the link is in the description below as well. So today I wanted to talk about an article that I just wrote for the Podcast Business Journal, and it is titled Dealing with and Preventing Burnout from Your Podcast. So, everyone burns out a little bit on their podcast, especially if, and I mentioned this in the article, I'll do sort of a reading on it, but everyone burns out a little bit, especially if your podcast isn't monetizing and it's not your main source of income. You're kind of doing it as either like a side project, a passion project, or, it's an extension of your company's brand in terms of promoting your products and services. It can be tough to continually putting out new content and to continue, staying fresh with your podcast content. And it's tough to stay on top of everything, especially dealing with everything that's going on outside of work, outside of the podcast, just life in general, kids, wife, husband, family, anything. It can be tough. And to manage a podcast on top of that can be, it can be stressful, and you can feel like you can slip a little bit. And let's just get into the article because I offer a little bit of guidance in terms of how you can manage that. So we'll begin. Every podcaster deals with burnout at some point in their journey, from career podcasters to hobbyists. This doesn't necessarily mean you've fallen out of love with your podcast, but life just gets crazy. Family, work, kids, and the things that pop up throughout the day that we just can't plan for. It can feel really easy to skip that episode or episodes for the week, and then the next week, and the next, and so on, until you realize you haven't put out a new episode in months. And this can be especially true if you're starting to lose that spark that you had when you first started recording your podcast. I see this more often with podcasters who are putting out their show as a passion project or a complement to their various brand building tools. And since it's not bringing in the big bucks, you can find yourself slipping as the burnout becomes more and more obvious in your mind. So how do we deal with this? How can we push through this feeling of being overwhelmed and the obligation to the listeners to continue to pump out content every single week, or even multiple times a week if that's, the consistency of your podcast? Excuse me. Firstly, know that you're not alone. No one has this perfect schedule where they can just uninterruptedly put out a new episode every week, and every podcast deals with this in some form or another. So here's a route that I've found to get you a little bit of breathing room in dealing with burnout from your podcast. And this is not only dealing with burnout of, look, your content just isn't performing the way that you wanted to, or you're just sort of losing interest in it altogether. You're like, why am I still doing this? You kind of forget why you started doing this. So I found it unbelievably helpful to have at least 2 to 3 episodes just in the queue, ready to drop, totally mixed, totally produced episodes that all you have to do is just hit publish and they're ready to go. These are going to come these are going to come in handy very much to deal with this burnout feeling. So along with these episodes, you're going to want to try and record 2 to 3 more episodes within the coming week, if that's possible. I understand everyone has crazy schedules, but the goal here is to get like 4 to 6 episodes just totally mixed, ready to go, ready to launch in the span of like a week. You should have 2 to 3 already done. Now get 2 to 3 more out of the way. And this can be difficult for some people. I know you might be yelling at me saying, I do an interview podcast. I can't schedule 2 to 3 guests in 1 week. I have them all mapped out for, the next few months or however your schedule is working. You don't necessarily have to do that. These can be sort of like bonus episodes to hold people over until you're ready to return to the mic and start interviewing people again. So these could come in the form of recap episodes where you're discussing major points or takeaways or your thoughts from favorite guests or favorite topics. These could also be bonus recorded audio that you didn't release, or a highlight reel of your most popular episodes. Take the most popular segment from your most downloaded episodes, clip those together, throw some transition music in between those segments. Boom, you've got a highlight episode. Now that you've got these 4 to 6 episodes completed, you can spread these out over the course of several weeks. Imagine what you could do with 6 episodes spread out over 6 weeks. That's 6 weeks where you do not have to podcast. You don't have to record. You don't have to schedule anybody. You don't even have to think about the darn thing for 6 weeks. This is the time where you take just to rest from the podcast, determine why you're feeling burned out, determine how you can remedy the situation. And this could be an enormous opportunity to form the direction of your podcast, to develop new content, and to strategize how you can get a maximum benefit from your podcast. And once you decide to start recording again, you're going to remember that little jolt of excitement that you get when you finally go live on the podcast. And my article rounds out, self-care works, even in podcasting. You'll know if it's time to take a step back from the mic and reevaluate, as well as when you're ready to jump back in. It's about filling that time in between with continuous content for your listeners that will make this as smooth of a transition as possible. Excuse me, again. It's tough. I've been there where you're just like, I can't plan out any new content. I just don't know what to do. I just need to take a break. Getting these episodes out and ready and you just coast on these episodes for like 6 weeks. It's a great opportunity to sort of just sit back, pull back a little bit, kind of ease on the brakes. I know it's like 3 analogies in a row, but whatever. And just determine, okay, why did I start this in the first place? Is this something that I'm trying to do for fun? Well, why did I stop having fun doing this? Does my co-host suck? Do my guests suck? Is the content just starting to deteriorate as a whole? Am I starting to lose interest in the topic that I'm doing it about? Maybe it's time to pivot the direction of the podcast. It could be a number of different things. But the point is that you take this time to just take a break, sit back, and determine what's the course of action right now? Where am I going to go from here? So if you want to read the article, it's in the description below. Again, check us out on PodLogic. Check out www.straightuppodcast.com. Come rent this studio. Just come hang out with me. The studio is sick. It's unbelievable. And I'm really excited to get moving with this thing. So thanks for tuning in, and go check out the next episode or video.